Marvel's Avengers has had the next-gen treatment, and we've got Hawkeye as well. Is it time for you to jump back into Marvel's Avengers, the game? So first of all, let's look at the story content that's dropped, the Future Imperfect, which is a really interesting story, and I did really enjoy it, about the future and the end of the world. Surprise, surprise. But we've got a nice bit of time traveling here. I'm not going to give away the story, but suffice to say, it is a good one, with a strange aside for Hawkeye's dog, which was quite bizarre, but there we go. That kind of was a little bit twee, I suppose. But apart from that, it is a good story. What I like about it is that it's taking a more episodic feel, because Kate Bishop's story started off this particular arc, and now Hawkeye's Future Imperfect is continuing it on. It doesn't resolve itself at the end. It kind of resolves in a chapter kind of sense, but the ongoing story is still there, and I like this, and I think it works for the game. The only problem they're going to have is keeping up any kind of momentum. Now, we have had a roadmap for new stuff coming out this year, which is a really good thing, and then of course we've got the Black Panther expansion with Wakanda coming at some time this year, although we don't know when. But they have said this will be free to all players, so a very juicy morsel to dangle in front of us there. But the problem that we do have, of course, with Marvel's Avengers, aside from the story, because I really enjoyed the campaign, that was fantastic, and in this you can replay the campaign too, which is a first. That's very, very good. But outside of that, the Avengers initiative, the online thing, can sometimes seem to be a little bit lacking. Not in the gameplay, because we reviewed and talked about this before. It plays really well. I love the characterizations. It's really, really good. The problem that we have is the repetition of enemies and the repetition of environments. Let's face it, we're all just been fighting robots for God knows how long. Oh, and that gang, the Watchdogs, as well. But apart from that, nothing much else. There is a really good boss fight in the story. I won't tell you who. I really enjoyed it, and because I've kept my head under the radar, so I didn't know what was going on, it was a big surprise to me, and I'm not really that familiar with the Marvel Universe, so the character itself was a big surprise to me anyway. But trust me, play it, you'll enjoy it. The Hawkeye character is interesting. Some of his costumes look a bit weird sometimes, and it's unfortunate that we've got another Archer one after the other. We've got Kate Bishop and we've got Hawkeye, because they do control in a very similar way, because they've all both got bows. However, their moves are pretty different, to be perfectly honest, and I do enjoy using them, but it's this samey aspect that might drive people a little bit away, I suppose. They should have broken it up, not done two one after another. But there we go, that's what it is, eh? I do like his ultimate heroic ability. I think it's fantastic. It reminds me of Yondu, you know, the guy with the blue head and the red Mohican with the magical arrow who goes and whistles, and his arrow just absolutely kills everybody. Well, this is kind of very similar to Hawkeye's. When you unleash it, it flies around killing lots of different doodahs that get in its way, and it's great fun. Not only have we had a new story drop, we have also had the next gen update, and with that has come a raft of changes, and it's made the game so much better. For a start, load times. That's the most noticeable for me. It doesn't take very long at all to jump into any particular activity, where sometimes things were taking about 1.5 to 2 minutes on the PlayStation 4 Pro. They're only taking around about 10-20 seconds on the PS5, and I'm sure for the Series X as well, the load times will be comparable. The installation of it in the PlayStation 5 did cause quite a bit of consternation, because it wasn't at all clear what you had to do. But basically, once you download the PlayStation 5 version, you have to open up the PlayStation 4 version to transfer and migrate your saves over to the PS5. If you want a breakdown on exactly how to do this, I've got a video up here which will tell you what you need to do. There's been some brilliant graphical upgrades as well. The game does look really, really stonking, as we used to say around here in the 80s, or even the 90s maybe, I don't know, it's far too long ago. But you've got two modes. You've got a highest performance mode that you can pick. Now this means it has a target frame rate of 60 frames a second, and then it dynamically scales the 4K, so the fidelity of it depending on how much is going on screen. And that, to be perfectly honest with you, is my favourite mode, because the other mode we've got is called highest quality. Now what that does is it locks the frame rate, or it's got a target frame rate of 30 frames a second, and it keeps it at a 4K resolution. It has better shadows and stunning reflections and all those kinds of things. But I've got to be honest, when I did flick it back to that particular mode, when it started running at 30 frames, it lost its appeal for me. I mean, it looks really good, but it was just not enough. The 60 frames, I wanted that silky smooth 60, baby. So that's what I've gone for the highest performance. Another next gen thing that I absolutely love, but this is obviously only particular to the PlayStation 5, is the haptic feedback for the triggers. It's great, because when you're pulling the triggers back, they fight against you, get some force back against your finger. So when you're pulling the bow with Hawkeye, once it's reached its absolute tension, you get a good vibration going, you know, or if you're shooting the big heavy pulsar arrow, it's kind of a slower thrum, so it's giving you information through your fingertips for you to be able to deliver death. And it's fantastic that they're using that. And it's different for Iron Man, it's different for Thor, it's different for the Hulk. It's really nice design. Another big plus for me, because this is just great fun if you want to be able to use all of your heroes' superpowers endlessly just to see how many kick-ins you can administer. The harm room now has a custom mode. So you can go in and you go to this terminal and you pick what enemies you want, how many of them there are, and then what buffs and debuffs you want to apply. So what I did was make myself the Hulk, give myself perpetual super energy, turn on the big bloody robots and those really annoying adaptoids, dump as many of them I could in the room, and just kick their asses all day long. My god, it was satisfying. But not only that, by continuously having the full super, you can start to figure out how to use it, because sometimes in the heat of battle, you just don't know what you're doing, you're just bashing buttons and you go, oh no, I've bugged it up. But here you get a chance to figure out how each one works, and I was really finessing the Hulk by grabbing adaptoids' heads and slamming them into the ground until they burst. So should you go back to it? If you've already bought it, absolutely you should go back to it, because if you didn't play the Kate Bishop one, that's there as well, and that's where the story kind of starts. It starts fleshing out, it's good fun, it's not going to hold your attention throughout the whole summer, but we do have that roadmap to look forward to as well, because you can see here we've got the Tachyon Anomaly in the spring, so there's a Tachyon missions there, plus play as any combination of your favourite heroes. You've got Red Room Takeover, so let's enter the Red Room, it's new themed Harm Room content, which is quite nice. The Harm Room is going to be changing up, and we've got some new outfits. Then we've got the Summer and Beyond. We've got the Cosmic Cube, which is a new Scientist Supreme villain sector. New villain sector's coming, and confront the unchecked power of the Cosmic Cube, whatever that means. And then Wasteland Patrols, new war zones and assignments within the Wasteland region, and new war zone mission types, which are patrol modes. And then, of course, we've got the War for Wakanda, the big one. That's the big expansion coming home. We're going to have Black Panther, new outfits, power level cap increases, new villains, thank God, new Claw faction enemies, new story, new Wakandan jungle biome, and a new outpost. So there's a lot happening in this game this year. If you want to start getting back into it, Future Imperfect is a perfect way to get into it. Get it? Future Imperfect, whatever. And the next gen upgrades really make it worthwhile. Stop everything just for a minute. You see that little thumbs up thing down there? Can you click that if you did enjoy the video? It would be fantastic. And subscribe if you want to see more Avengers stuff. I will be making more Avengers video. I also cover Outriders, which is going to be coming out at the 1st of April, so plenty to look forward to there. I'm also ongoing covering Destiny 2 as well, because it's bloody marvellous. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. Sausage out.